Okay, cool. So everyone should be muted who's on the call. We've got people jumping on as the call is going. But first, before we get started, I wanted to introduce what we're doing here at the Clearwater Market Center. So I'm the Productivity Committee Chairperson. We do a stand-up meeting once a week for 15 minutes, just an accountability and or mastermind call, maybe lasts about a half an hour, where we're talking about production and also holding each other accountable to numbers. And then once a month, we have a mastery agent from around the country join our call, and they talk about what they're doing in their business to just absolutely crush it and stay in production. And so I'm super excited. Today, we've got Abbie Shepard on the line. And Abbie, are you with us?
I'm here. Yep.
Hey. Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. And then, so what we're going to do is Abbie's going to talk a little bit about where she is, what she's doing to stay in production. We'll have some opportunity to ask her a few questions about her business, and then we'll all go about our Mondays and just continue to crush the week. And so without further ado, Abbie, thanks so much for being on the call. Tell us a little bit about your business and and where are you?
Thanks for having me. So I'm in my I guess this is the 13th year of my business, and we're in Buckhead, a part of Atlanta, in town. We have luxury homes here. It's pretty high-end. And so we do luxury. I've got a farm here. We did 85 units last year for $35 million. There's 6 of us. So currently right now there's a director of operations, a listing manager, a transaction coordinator, and then myself and 2 other sales agents. We just hired up. Last year, the production we did, there were 3 of us. There was an admin and myself and 1 other sales agent. So we hired up, so our goal this year is 200 units.
Wow.
And yeah. So we just took Bold, the 3 sales agents, just finished up with Bold. That's my 11th or 12th Bold. So I always enjoy taking that to grow myself personally, and then also, take to expand my financial thermostat and take my accountability to the next level. So we just finished up that, and I've got a 3-month-old. I have 5 children, my youngest being 3 months. So I thought it was a good idea coming out of maternity leave to take Bold.
Sure. Wow.
Yep. And my goal is to be out of production in 2 years in just teaching and coaching.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's a big jump going from 85 to 200 units. I was talking with a few agents in our office when we were talking about your production and that growth. And tell us a little bit about how you guys are going to, more than double your production this year.
So we changed up. So previously, myself, I would do all the listings, and Robin, our other salesperson, was just doing the buyers. And so we did a completely new compensation model to where she could also take listings. And then it also will help us to attract other sales agents that have experience in the business. What I was realizing was interviewing salespeople, they would, if they had some success and, had at least $5 million in production, then they would ask me questions about, well, what do I do with my database? So, I didn't want to just hire a buyer's agent. I wanted to, and because my goal is to be out of production in 2 years, so I wanted to make sure that I'm hiring strong sales agents. We're working on culture within the team, because 3 years ago I had hired a second sales agent, and it wasn't a good cultural fit, and it didn't really work out that well. And so those are the 2 things that we're implementing in order to attract seasoned sales agents to the team. So that was the thought and the strategy around how we can bump up, the production this year and attracting people that are good and successful. And then the third thing is by hiring an ISA. So we're real close taking a person through the career visioning process to hire our first ISA.
Got it. That's exciting. Yeah, what I remember from career visioning in that is you can't teach people culture or motivation.
Yes.
Like they gotta have that. They gotta bring that with them. Everything else is learnable.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's a big jump. I love that the trend that you're on. I think that there's probably a lot of people on our call today that have their sights set on that type of production and or seventh leveling out in the near future. So that's awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about your focus area. What are you guys doing to stay in production?
So we do our business last year was 74% referrals, which tells me we have a lot of opportunity to increase our business out of by hiring an ISA and doing more for sell by owners and expireds. Because when I first got into the business, that's really how I built my business. And so now it's past clients, sphere of influence. I had for years been calling my database and saying, oh, do you know anybody buying or selling? And not really feeling like I was bringing them value. So we started last year with a couple client parties. And our listing manager is also a marketing gal, and so she's playing those two roles right now. And so she's really outlined for this year. It's almost about once a month that we're doing some sort of value add, whether it's a small educational event or a larger client appreciation. So we're because we're still under the 12-2 out of our Met database return. So there's still opportunity in our database to pull more referrals there. And so that was about 74% of our business last year. The other area is our farm. So because I have 5 children, they're very involved, in the farm and through school and that sort of thing. I'm president of the school's foundation. I'm in a neighborhood that is very active where things already exist, like an active garden club, an active neighborhood foundation, which is separate from the school foundation. And then there's an active civic association and all sorts of, gala. And then so we already sponsor things that are in place in the neighborhood, like the Easter egg hunt and all of those things. So there's a lot of it was a challenging farm to break into in the way I moved into the neighborhood in 2008, in that there were already 2 strong names in the farm. However, because it's just such an active neighborhood, I couldn't pass it up. So I did start. I was probably a couple years into when I moved, so 2010, building that farm between door knocking, presence, sponsoring things. And now we do a good amount of business out of that farm as well.
Sure. Do you find that the other big names in your farm neighborhood, are they kind of boots on the ground technique as the same as you are, or how have you been able to differentiate yourself from those other 2 names?
Great question. So one of them was born in the neighborhood, and she's in her 70s. And
man.
Yes.
That's a tough one. That's a toughie.
Yeah. So when I'm outdoor knocking, a lot of times, I run across people that are like, oh, yeah, I went to school with her, back in 1960-something. So there's her and her daughter that she's passing the business to. And then there's another lady who raised her kids there. She's in her 60s, and she's also passing her business to her kids that also now live in the farm. And what I'm noticing is one of them is of the mentality that there's plenty of business to go around. However, she's not as aggressive, and she also overprices houses. And then the other one is a bulldog, and she prices houses great, gets them sold. However, her kids, she's kind of on her way out, so she's not as present. And then her kids go to a private school and not the local public school. So I think I naturally have more of a boots on the ground. None of them are door knocking. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Sure.
And I have the mindset, too, that there's a ton of business as well. So, we can all share. And however, I'm now seeing, that doing things above board and, playing nice in the sandbox is paying off, because I am hearing from some of the neighbors, oh, well, so-and-so said this, I don't want to work with her because it was weird and such, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I love that, the mindset, the abundance mindset.
Yes.
Versus the scarcity. I think that's a lot that we have challenged. We've actually got Bold coming next month in our market center, and we're super excited about it. And it'll be probably my 14th or something like that. And it's all about the mindset, and we love it.
Yeah.
Cool. So then you mentioned that you do that 74% referral, and you're doing really, you added the once a month kind of value add client party or some kind of a client event. Can you just maybe give a few ideas on what you're doing for those events? Because I know a lot of the agents in our market and market center are looking to kind of break into just the smaller events.
Sure. So as I said, we just started last year. We did a movie night in July, and what we learned on that one, two things. The first was we definitely have to call around the invites, because I discovered when I started looking at the RSVP a couple weeks before the event that it was very low, and when I started calling people, they said, oh, yeah, well, I didn't get that. It was going into spam or whatever. So the next one, we did a Waffle House food truck, because Waffle House is out of Atlanta, so it's a big hit. So that one we called around for 2 months before the event, and it had about 60 people. So so two things that we learned was, call around, and the other thing is don't have it to where people, like with the movie event, people feel like they have to come and sit there the entire time. It's not, I could just stop in, grab some food from a food truck and say hey and take off. So that's what we learned last year. And then as far as calling around, obviously that was a 2-month commitment around the Waffle House food truck. So what we're going to do now is like fly dial, text messaging, some other things. We'll still call around. It just, I think adding that to it is going to help build it up. So this year we've got a lot of great ideas from family reunions. So one of them that I like was portraits in the park, where we just get some photographers, and our clients can sign up, bring their family, and then we'll just take their photos. Now, our office is doing a fun day spring event where they're actually planning. The ALC's putting that together. So they're doing like a family fun day picnic, the easy button for a client party, and they're already doing that in Piedmont Park, which is our big park in the middle of Atlanta. So we're just kind of going to tag team that, and we'll do it that same day, and we just have a separate tent set up there. So our database will be able to have all the added fun park field day things, and we will have the portraits there.
Oh, so you're going to kind of piggyback on that with the portraits.
Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe our office is doing that. They had just taken a vote, and they're going to charge each person in the office $30 and be able to put on this huge, massive event for everybody's client database.
That's a great idea. I'd love to, maybe after the call, send me the contact info for your culture committee or whoever's putting that on. I can connect them with our committee. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I thought we were already planning our event, and I thought, well, that's a no-brainer, because usually our food truck was $2,000, so I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. All I got to do, we have 3 sales agents, so it's going to cost us $90.
Right.
Big difference. So
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and our photographer, we paid our photographer $18,000 last year, so he and his wife, so I think they're going to come do that part for free. So I think this is going to be our most affordable client event. I'm so excited about that.
Sure. That's awesome. So the photographer shooting your portraits is your real estate photographer who does your houses. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I love it. The other thing I know that you mentioned, which I know a lot of folks are focusing on, are expireds and for sale by owners. I think you might have mentioned that in your kind of what you guys are, some of the stuff that you're focusing on. Is that a part of what you're doing for production as well?
So yes, we've always done, since we've had a strong referral business, which has been the past 5 years, I'd say, our for sale by owner expired business has dipped to between 5 to 10% of it, or I think 1 year it was 12% of our total business. So it's such a small part of our business currently. And so my lead gen around for sale by owners expireds looks like this. When I was in bold and I needed to call on that call day, I would call for sale by owners and expireds, And so it's no surprise that that was such a small percentage of our business. And we intend to get more business that way. Because right now I need to have 20 active listings at all times, and so I'm going to have to sit on 5 listing appointments a week, and in order to hit our numbers. And so in order to get that many appointments, I've got to get for sale by owners and expireds.
Sure. And then are you going to leverage your ISA group or to then bring those?
Yes. So that's what we're going to do. So right now, I've just been calling for sale by owners. We have such a small area. I've just been calling them in our area, which it returns 1 or 2 a day. So it's really not, and then if you get a bad number, so I would say it's still non-existent. I'm so used, one other thing we had before. So when it was just Robin and Robin was doing exclusively buyers and I was doing exclusively sellers, I was incentivizing her with calling for sale by owners. If she booked the appointment for me, she would just make 30% of that for sale by owner once I closed it. And so that was incentivizing her to do for sale by owner calls. And now that we've created a compensation plan that is scalable for when we have a full ISA team, meaning they'll get 12.5% of any appointments they set. So I had to say, well, that 12.5%, if you set the appointment and you're a salesperson, you get that 12.5%, or the ISA gets it.
Sure.
So I think it's almost taking Robin backwards, where she goes, I used to, make for sale by owner calls for 30%. Now I make them for 12.5%. So she's not making those. And I'm hoping to coach her into, well, the beauty is you can make the for sale by owner calls and take the listing yourself. So that's right now I've got we've implemented this new compensation. I've got one person we recruited that we plugged into the new compensation who's like super excited and doing that. And then I've got one that I'm trying to retrofit into, changing her compensation. And that's been a little more challenging because she's also still in the mindset of being a buyer's agent.
Got it.
So,
makes sense.
Cool. Did we answer your question? I can't remember what the question was.
I think that answers it. We've seen that in our business as well, where I've transitioned from heavy for sale by owner business to more referral based, and then it's about how do we still make those calls.
Yes.
In the long term, and that seems like that's kind of the way how it's kind of unfolding as well.
And
so then
we had. Sorry, I just wanted to add, this is great, this mastermind call, and that's why I asked you about can I listen in on future mastermind calls, because we had something similar in our office where we were interviewing mega agent teams once a month at this group, and so it was one agent here that when she hit the million GCI for the first time, she said that year it was all because of the ISA. And so I kind of took that and went, yeah, that's where all these, random listings are coming from, because someone is literally, it's their job to call and book these appointments. So I think that's what's going to push us over to that 200 units this year.
Sure. And you are absolutely welcome to join our future calls. I'll make sure that you, Cool. So then we've got about 10 minutes or so left. Anything else you want to add before I open it up to some questions?
Nope.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to initiate the Q&A section here. So what will happen is that when I do that, it'll say Q&A started, and then whoever's muted, *6 will unmute. If you'd like to ask a question, press the number 1. It'll go into the queue, and then I'll click on you, to which then you can ask your question. So let's get that going right now. So, Abbie, you and I should be unmuted. *6, anyone else? I have one question coming in. Hold on a second here. Go ahead with your question, Mike.
Yes, Abbie. Hey, thank you for joining the call. I just wanted to ask a little bit about your door knocking and what type of value you're bringing while you're door knocking, and maybe a little bit of a script that you're using.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I just knock on the door. I take with me, because this is in my farm, so I take with me postcards where I've mailed. We're mailing once a month, just listed, just sold. And so I say, hey, my name's Abbie Shepard. You probably get my postcards. So I'm just walking around today seeing if you want to sell your house. And they either say yes or no. Sometimes they invite me in. If they say no, then I say, great, I have a fantastic newsletter that I send out every Thursday with homes on the market. People love to watch, what their neighbor's selling for, see what their house looks like. What's your email? And then I get their email address, and I say, hey, do you happen to know any neighbors or anybody that's looking to buy or sell right now? And that's it.
Perfect.
I love it. Simple.
And then there's a little letter that I have that I leave if they don't answer, which just says, hey, do you know the, market inventory is down right now, gives a couple stats, call me if you're interested in selling.
Cool, and you just leave that on their door if no one answers?
That's right, yep.
Cool. Thanks, Mike, for that question. Anyone else have a question they'd like to answer? *6 will put you in the queue, and we'll get you on there. While we're waiting for possibly a few more, one of the big things obviously going on for Keller Williams right now is all of our tech. What, if anything, have you kind of adopted in the tech, or what have you seen as that's coming through as you're building your team?
Sure. Well, because we have a strong farm, we started to do those insights. So once this consumer app comes out, I'll be curious to see how that and it's been fun because, we know all of these little hidden gems in our neighborhood. So that's the insights are what we're doing now. We do have, we're continuing, Pipedrive is the database that we use currently. So we have that. We're continuing that alongside of Command, and it's syncing now with Command. So everybody that we enter into Pipedrive is getting entered into there. We did take what Gary said at Family Reunion to heart. So we have just written a script and uploaded all of our database into our dialer, where we're calling around to get updated email information and everything.
Sure,
updated mailing address.
To get them onto the local Snaps Insight page or landing page, rather?
So what we're right now, we're just scrubbing the database and cleaning it up so that we have accurate information. So our script just says, hey, we're calling around today to make sure that we have, our Christmas card list or our holiday card list is updated. So, is this the correct email address? Is this the correct mailing address for you? And then we say, hey, yeah, and by the way, our next, we're plugging that event. Our next event is May 11th, and talking about that. And then our next educational event is actually before then. So we're going to plug both of those events on that call.
Oh, cool. So you're kind of using it to add value, invite them to an event, update their contact card, and just kind of all around make a touch.
That's right. And so once we have figure out what that consumer app and when that rolls out and how that's going to bring value to our clients, then that would be a great call for us to follow up with our database and say, here's what just rolled out. So we're not doing that call yet.
Oh, that makes sense. Cool. And then I don't see anyone else in the queue right now, so I'll ask you another quick question unless anyone else has one they want to chime in. Again, *6 will put you in the queue. You mentioned some educational events. What type of educational events are you offering to your database?
So we just started those. The first one we did was Declutter to De-Stress was the name of it, and these ladies came out who they are professional organizers, and they were amazing. They had this whole skit, and they were funny and very helpful. So we had that. This next one we got with our stager, and she's going to do a presentation on design and color in the home and that sort of thing.
Okay. Love it. Like get your little Marie Kondo out there to show everyone how to fold their shirts.
Yes.
Awesome.
Martha Stewart's coming in October. No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome. Cool. Well, unless anyone else has any questions, we'll leave it at that. And then, so Abbie, real quick, tell us where you are and how folks can get referrals to you.
Oh, fantastic. Yep, we're in town Atlanta, and our office is in the Buckhead office. The office line is 404-275-5561. And also we're on the Kelly app. So I just had someone the other day send me a referral up from Woodstock in Georgia, which is one of the far suburbs of Atlanta. So we do get referrals from outside of the Atlanta metro area as well. And she sent it on the Kelly app. So I know that that's working, and so we can be found there as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, I so appreciate you jumping on the call. Thank you so much for your time. Keep an eye out for our next call. We will be doing next month. I got to see who exactly we have on the book for next month, but I'll be sending that out. And then I just also want to thank everyone else. I'll have this recording, so I'll be able to send the recording out. And again, I'm Jake Incarelli in the Tampa Bay market here in Florida, and I just really appreciate everyone's time, and I trust it was a good use of a half an hour of your Monday. So thanks so much, and make it a great day. And thank you, Abbie.
Awesome.
Have a good day.
Take
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.